All right, we're going to get started here, okay? We have our red light. All right, I'll call to order the Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 Park Board meeting. I've been looking for approval of April 2026 minutes. Everybody get a chance to look at them and stuff? Sorry, right? Any questions on any of it? Or? Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. New business, Casson Aquatic Center, public discussion about life jackets, etc. That's you.
I'm assuming I have to speak into the microphone.
Yes.
You,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you.
This is my first time at the park board, so I have to present myself in any certain way.
No.
Okay.
I think you usually,
I'd just like to know who your name.
usually got to dance and sing.
I'm so dance and sing. Oh gosh, I'm very unprepared then.
Just your name.
Perfect. I take her in.
Just your name.
My name is Emma Williams. I currently live in Casson, and I'm here to talk to you guys about potentially changing the life jacket rule that our public pool currently has. How much time do I have?
Whatever you want.
Okay, perfect. My concern as a parent, I have a 5-year-old and then a 9-month-old, is that we frequent the pool every single summer. I think everybody in Casson does, and it's a great pool. Attracts lots of people from the surrounding areas. I have plenty of people there every single day. Given that it's not 50 degrees out. My concern with the life jacket policy is the inconsistency of it, and also the fact that we seem to be trying to solve a problem by using life jackets incorrectly. So as stated in the June 7th, 2026 email sent out by the pool management, when a child is in a life jacket, it gives parents a reason to pay less attention. In my mind, when I read that statement, we are trying to solve the parents paying less attention by not allowing children to wear life jackets. I feel that the parents should then be reprimanded for not paying attention to their child, not banning life jackets across the board. There are plenty of benefits for life jackets, and I did quite a bit of research, so this got kind of long. I'll try and pare it down. But they are life-saving equipment. 19% of drowning deaths involve children occur in public pools with certified lifeguards present. U.S. Coast Guard life jackets reduce drowning amongst non-swimmers significantly. So 88% of victims drown that are not wearing life jackets. According to one industry document, around a third of drownings in the United States, so over 500 individuals, occurred at life-guarded pools. Why is this a problem? It is because our lifeguards are adolescents and young adults. Many lifeguards are undeveloped and frankly unprepared to handle the responsibilities of a true emergency. While it's fantastic that we have the lifeguards, the minimum age to be a lifeguard is 15 years old. A lot of the information that I got from here today was actually speaking with last year's pool manager, Colin Santier, and he was the manager as a sophomore in college over everyone that worked at the pool. So it's just a very young group of people that have not been experienced to life's hardships at that point. So they have to sit for long hours, often in hot weather, watching for a very rare occurrence, and then react to that very rare occurrence based off of their training. The lifeguard training that they take is through Red Cross, and that is a 1-day training. It can be online or in person, and then they have to do a swim test. You're shaking your head. Is that incorrect?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Our lifeguards go through a 3-day training. It's all in person.
Okay. Then that, you can scratch that. That is the information that I got off of the Red Cross website for lifeguard training.
And it's 8-hour trainings.
Okay. Is that reoccurring or one and done?
Nope, not one and done.
Okay, that's good information for me to have. So regulations, obviously federal law requires that when a child is in a vessel on any other waterway under the age of 13, they must be wearing a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket. Minnesota DNR states that while it's not law, it is recommended that everyone should wear a life jacket when on or near the water to prevent death. Again, I recognize as a pool versus a lake, but it's still a life-saving piece of equipment. The Red Cross recommends that all children under the age of 5 wear life jackets while in or around the pool. Our training comes from the Red Cross, and we follow a lot of the Red Cross guidelines, so it seems inconsistent that we're not following this guideline either. Just in general, Water Safety USA, amongst other reputable resources, also encourage people who are inexperienced or insecure swimmers to wear life jackets when they're in the water, particularly children. Preschool children, again, under 5, who are not protected by touch should be wearing life jackets in the pool. An analysis of child death review data found that supervision was missing in almost half the time that a child fatally drowned in a pool. So again, going back to what is our problem statement, it might be the parents and not a life jacket problem. Just area pools. So both the Turtle Lot Pool and the North Mankato Pool allow life jackets. Soldier Field in Rochester allows life jackets. Albert Lee does not allow life jackets, but they conduct a deep water test and communicate this by the color of the wristband allowed on the child. So I find that might not be the best option for our pool because it's additional management and it complicates things and is time consuming to be able to implement immediately. Maybe that's a consideration for future years. River Springs Park in Owatonna, they allow life jackets. City of Faribault also allows life jackets in their pools. So we seem to be the odd one out for the pools in our region. My resolution that I propose is that we allow life jackets at all times during pool hours. I think that the life jackets should be required to be U.S. Coast Guard life jackets, not just anything off of Amazon. I also feel like since we do seem to be, again, this is my presumption based off that email, handling a behavior problem with a life jacket solution, maybe providing our lifeguards some conflict resolution training might be beneficial since they are so young. I can imagine that going up to a parent that is significantly older than them and telling them that they are doing a bad job at parenting may be very difficult for them to do. This might be the easy solution. Is there any questions thus far? Or
I guess
something like that?
I don't have questions, but
When you talk about who would wear them, like 5 and under, or 6 and under, or anybody?
I think anybody should be able to wear them as long as it's the appropriate life jacket, again, certified by the U.S. Coast Guard. As an adult, not everyone knows how to swim or feels comfortable swimming either, and it's just a life-saving series. So my background, I'm in environmental health and safety, and so I'm used to risk analysis. And usually when you're trying to prevent risk, especially when you're talking about human behavior, you want to use a Swiss cheese method. So as many protections as possible so that in the event is significantly reduced, the chances that it's going to fit through all the little holes of Swiss cheese without being stopped by a solid part is slim. So I think life jackets on top of lifeguards would significantly decrease any risks at our pool.
So all the other area pools, do they?
So I reached out to Stewartville, who is a similar sized pool. Obviously, it's a one pool. Their policy is exact same as ours.
Okay.
Reach out to Dodge Center. They have a life jacket. You can wear a life jacket, but the adult has to be within arm's distance.
I don't disagree with that.
I agree with that 100% because they reached out to Red Cross. But for that to actually be realistic that's not going to happen. You know, I have 3 kids. If I were to put all 3 kids in the pool with me and 2 of the 3 were wearing a life jacket, I'm not keeping track of the 2. There's no way, because they're 2 different people and they're 2 different personalities and they're running everywhere. I'm not saying that's every kid,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that I use the lifeguards' perspective, their advice. I'm not the one up there watching kids, right? And even Dodge Center said, we have problems with it. And you're asking a 15 or 16-year-old, or maybe older, to confront a parent and say, you're not behaving, you're not watching your child. That's not realistic either.
But that's what we're
9 times out of
asking
10
them to do in the email that was sent out.
So there was 2 emails sent out. The first email, unfortunately, was not right. So we offer life jackets, evening swim, and Sunday night.
Can you explain what the difference between day swim and evening swim as far as life jackets and why it was decided to only have life jackets at one versus the other?
Because evening swim is when more parents are going to be home and they're bringing their kids up to the pool.
Okay.
So day swim is when most of the kids, they're riding their bikes up to the pool, they're doing their day swim, that type of stuff. That was decided before I started in my position. I use the
How long have you been in your position?
in 4 years.
Okay. So do you know why it was decided that that was
Nope,
to be?
But I go with what my lifeguards have advised me, that have been up there for just as long as I've been in my position. And they basically say the same thing. Parents tend to let their children go a little more when they have a life jacket on, or they're sitting on their phone.
Again, I agree with that statement. I don't think life jackets are the fix. I think that holding people accountable is the fix. And I recognize that your statement of these are 15-year-olds, but relying on the 15-year-olds to tell you what they think it should be also kind of concerns me. I think that as a general entity, this
How
seems
does
to
it
be a
concern
theme of
you when they're
parents.
the ones that are up there every day? I'm not a
Frankly,
lifeguard.
because I trust but verify. If you look at the lifeguards, I mean, late in the day, in the middle of the summer, on a Saturday where they're pulling a double shift, I mean, I have to take care of my child. I'm the one that should be taking care of them. And I think that a lifeguard or life jacket is a secondary option that beyond me just being right there with them is also going to prevent any sort of incidents. Especially, I mean, frankly, I know we only do this on Sundays, and I'm not saying that we should get rid of it by any means, but with a bunch of flotation devices and people running around and throwing balls and jumping in and doing cannonballs and everything like that, there's a lot that can happen, a lot. There was a death of a 9-year-old in 4 feet of water in Mankato, and that was 3 years ago. I mean, the possibility exists, so why don't we want to prevent that in any way possible? I'm just asking you guys to think about that, and then it just seems inconsistent, and like we're trying to solve the problem incorrectly, and we're not really getting to the root cause.
Does anybody else have any questions for her?
My question, I guess, for me, one of the things I would ask is, do we currently have a problem at our pool with drownings? I don't think we've had a drowning in
I mean,
Thank God.
is that what we're basing it off of? We have to have somebody die in order to
Didn't say that.
prevent?
No, we did have a rescue
We did, yeah.
Yep,
a couple years ago.
that was a medical issue.
Okay. So, anyways,
Have you used Tot Time? Tot Time allows flotation devices, correct?
Yes.
Again, 9 months and 5 years. So my oldest is aged out. I've also taken enrolled my oldest last year in the swim lessons, and I know that they follow the Red Cross guidelines, but if we're relying on people to know how to swim, and I'm actively trying to teach my children to swim, it was a 1-week swim lesson for the youngest age group, because she was 4 at that time. We brought her in, and on day one, they did the typical what I would expect, which is you grab the edge, you paddle around. We're in the short area, but then, like 30 minutes into that, they took us into the slightly deeper area where the slides spit out, so 4.5 feet. And they wanted the children to dive down to the bottom of the pool to grab Slinky toys. They didn't even learn how to hold their breath or blow bubbles or breathe underwater. Even when we actively are teaching our children and using the resources available, it is a 1-week course, and it really is being shoved through as quickly as possible. I've looked into Goldfish, which is phenomenal. I've heard only good things, but it is $30 per session per child, and not everyone can afford that. So,
I mean, my son right now, who's 3, is in Tiny Tot session. We just got done with it today. We work on blowing bubbles. He works on grabbing stuff out of his reach in the water if he's comfortable with it. I mean, there's steps that are taken. So, like, after Tiny Tot is, the level 1, right? When they get old enough. If there's other options for you to take, I mean, we can't be the best that we're at for what we have. If your kid's not comfortable doing it, then we have to find some other solution.
and I think
Okay.
life jackets are the solution.
Okay.
I think we've got a lot of food for thought tonight, and
Yeah,
so
we
that's
do.
something I think we should all think about, and we can certainly take a look at it and maybe follow up.
I'm actually going to look into this Red Cross guideline thing.
I
because
did
I've
print off
never
the Red
really
Cross
paid much attention to that,
guidelines,
so-
and also I can send the document. I don't know who of you has been.
Yeah, me.
I can send you the documents, and then you can share with the research that I have found. That way you guys can reference what I'm actually telling you guys up here.
Sounds
And
great.
that it's not just coming from nowhere. I have links and stuff like that. I can definitely send that out. What would be next steps, I guess, after this?
Once we get the information, we'll be able to discuss it, find out what's going on, and probably maybe next park board meeting.
Think so.
We should be able to come up with a decision.
Okay.
and see what we
Is
do.
that something that you would like my attendance at?
Oh,
You're always welcome.
anybody,
Okay.
anybody's welcome to come.
Well, I'm just wondering, since it's like something that I brought up.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, anybody's welcome to come to meetings, so.
Okay, sounds good.
I got just a couple thoughts. So
Yeah.
when you said Austin, Rochester, the pools that have it, what's their size of pool compared to Cass's size of pool?
I don't
what's the-
have a square footage, but I can get that.
Yeah, I'd say Austin's pretty similar. Obviously, Rochester's is
And I'm
far
just
bigger.
trying to, the size sometimes will dictate, and granted, you got lifeguards in specific spots, and then pool capacity,
Absolutely.
so they may justify saying, yeah, it would be nice to have life jackets just for extra protection. I totally understand that side of it, because I'm not a good swimmer, okay? When I took swimming lessons, I took every lesson twice.
I thought your dad just chucked you in and said, "Go for it." There.
Isn't that how most Minnesotans
That was when I was
swim?
16, and I
Oh,
couldn't get
okay,
into
yeah, he was
5
done
foot
with the
yet.
swim lessons then, right?
So I totally understand, struggling and swimming. Okay, so finally I just said, okay, I'm just going to stay into 3-foot side, and pretty much where I stayed. So, but then the pools that don't have life jackets, like Dodge Center,
No, Dodge
Stewartville,
Center allows it.
Stewartville,
Real similar to us.
and the reasons why we don't. And I've been on the park board a long time, and I'm trying to pull my memory back to, goes back to before Ben, of why we said no versus why we said yes. I don't fully remember. And some of it was, and I don't want to say it wrong, but I'm probably going to, we don't want it to be a babysitting pool to where we get to babysit and the parents don't have to. And that's the accountability of finding the right parents, but you're always going to have the right parents, which is kind of the discussion of, I just want my child to be safe versus, so I really don't remember the reason why or why not. I'd have to go way back into some notes. But based on, today's discussion, it makes me rethink as, if I was that little kid and I had an older sister or brother that was swimming like a fish, and I'm this little slug that sticks to the wall because that's as far as I get without trying to release and not struggle, I'd be in the same situation. Why don't I get a life jacket? So I understand where you're coming from. I'm just trying to compare other size pools that do have it versus other, size pools that don't, and why. So it's kind of we're on a fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have more familiarity with the Mankato area. I moved from there like 3 years ago. Turtle Lot is about the same size. The North Mankato Spring Lake Pool Park that had the death is significantly larger. I would say double the size. But after their death, they did implement the ability for people to wear life jackets. So I think
there's
that's
just a couple things that, not saying that the size of the pool is going to dictate it, but it's in comparison
Yeah.
to that they allow it, that might have some
dictation on,
resolve.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck, I think Joe had a question too, quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you
just
go.
a brief question. And I first wanted to thank you for bringing this up. I always think it's a good idea to review rules and why they are, and to hear your perspective. Having been involved in pools before, all on a small kind of hotel-sized pool, one of the reasons that in previous experiences I have decided to not have allowing these flotation or life-saving devices is because we couldn't inspect their use. And what the life-saving device does, if not properly applied and properly sized and properly worn, is it gives a child false confidences. And we had actually more incidences with children in these life jackets who fell out of the life jacket in a part of the pool they would not have been in had they had been not wearing that life jacket. And it's part of what we consider. And I haven't just made up my mind on this, but it might be something you want to consider when we meet again.
Absolutely. The management of it, from that aspect, I can fully understand that. It's difficult. I still think that the benefit outweighs the risk there. But again, I have not had the experiences that you've had. Yeah.
Thanks for your input.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Just one,
Just to clarify, your suggestion is that life jackets would be allowed for anyone during any of the pool hours?
Yep.
And what are your feelings on the stipulation of being within the parents' or responsible adults?
Oh, I think that should 100% be enforced.
how would we,
Again,
how
Swiss
would we-
cheese method.
How will we do that when Just Like Home shows up or Project Kids that bring?
That's kind of
That's
the,
kind of what the discussion's
When you
going
bring
to...
50 to 60 kids with 5 staff,
Could
you don't
those
have
be
a-
handled separately since it's not an open swim situation?
They wouldn't qualify under this rule then. They don't have,
yeah.
you have to have an adult near you for each life.
So if a
jacket.
parent brings you, then you'd be allowed to. That makes sense, yeah.
I just think there's some more discussion on this.
Yeah.
I just ask you to send me that information.
Yep, I can send that to you.
And then I'll keep in touch with you.
Okay.
And let you know when the next meeting is. It's up to you if you want to show up. It's not a big deal. But if you would like to be here, that would be great too.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay,
Thank you
all right.
for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Emma.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, I'm going to move ahead here. Tim, is it all right?
Yeah, let's
Should I
go
go
with
up
Tim.
to the
Sure.
Free
Something,
Swim Fair Week?
Yeah, something that I think we just talked about just briefly last year was potentially offering a free swim day or something like that, either during the fair or during the festival in the park. And I just want to bring that up again. And part of it is related to, I know that it's been a cool couple weeks. I know that our numbers definitely are down. I've been there, I think, 5 or 6 times with my kids, and 1 hour has been enough time at the pool because we usually go in the evenings, and it doesn't take long for it to. Once the sun drops below the horizon, it's when it's 72 degrees out there. The water's warmer than the air, I tell the kids, but that wasn't true yesterday. But otherwise, so I just wanted to see. We don't have another meeting before the fair, and part of the calculation is that during that fair week, we try to encourage people to use it. We see a lot of people who are not from town who would come potentially. I look at the operational perspective and say that a lot of it is already kind of a sunk cost, the operations. So whether we have 30 kids in the pool or we have 100, we're staffing it, we're manning it. The nice thing would be if folks are here from West Concord or, wherever, we would see probably a boost, I think, in concession sales. Because some people might just say, hey, I don't want to spend $30 at Godfather's for the large pepperoni pizza. We'll come and swim for an hour and go to the pool. And I think that I want to encourage people from our community to use the pool too. Previous community I was in in Blue Earth, we had a free swim on the 4th of July. We had a free swim on the City Festival Day, the Giant Days is the Green Giant there in Blue Earth. And because, I think the goal for us, and when I think about it, we want it to be used. I would love it, even if, if we're going to run it and the slide's going, everything's running, I want to get as many people in there as I can, safely, of course. But to be honest with you, we have a capacity that we aren't hitting. I think we had 2 days where we were, 300 plus. It was there was a couple good days right away when it was warm. It's been 70 degrees the last 2 weeks, and it's been pretty minimal. So just wanted to bring that up. Is there any feedback from anybody on that or thoughts? I know, like I said, maybe we would do it during the week. Maybe it'd be like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then, or Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that. Saturdays, Sundays, usually busier days, not maybe as needed. But I like people get in the pool and use it. And the fair doesn't always benefit the city. We really don't necessarily benefit. A lot of our restaurants say, hey, it's dead during the fair because everybody goes up to the fair. So if there's a way for us to get some of those people who are coming here to use some of our facilities, I think that would be a positive to at least consider. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that the city council did decide to move forward with allowing folks from Byron to come over and use the pool with the residential rate. The city of Byron is compensating Cass and the city of Cass financially to support that because they have had a failure with their own pool. So they won't be opening up at all in Byron this year. So they're going to be busing children over potentially, if it's warm enough, to come over to our pool to increase utilization. And once again, I've had people say, oh, well, Casson residents, well, the city of Byron is providing that capital contribution to support this, to make up the difference in cost of the passes. So
Okay.
It's exciting to be able to work with them, hopefully encourage them to, continue to send their kids over, possibly in the future as well. So,
Is this money being put in the general fund, or is this money being put into the park plan, park board?
Well, this goes into the pool, right?
the revenue is received, it'll be received into the revenue line for the pool.
Okay. I'm just-
The park and the parks are part of the general fund.
Right.
So all that money comes in, all the money that's spent on the parks is from the general fund too. But yeah, the revenue it'll be receipted back into the. to
Just
the pool.
noted, so as we have projects, it's like there's the Byron money that came in,
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of considering. It's like a capital contribution. It's one of those things where and we made the same offer to Manorville. I talked to Mel Ferris, one of the council members. She said, well, because we hear from people in Manorville, why do I have to pay the out-of-town rate? Well, it's because, your city doesn't really pay for it, whereas we do. And that's the same thing I talked with El Roder and Byron was, hey, we're willing to do it, want to support the kids. I want the kids to learn how to swim. Safety is very important for them because we live in Minnesota. We hate to have an accident. If they're willing to make that capital contribution, then I think it's a positive thing.
Well, I
And
think
the
that's
council
a good idea.
agreed with
Just
that. So.
like to make sure that we got access to some of the funds, if that's the case, earmarked, I'm going to say, at that point, but,
Yeah, the revenue will come into the pool fund. Yep.
good. Okay, good.
I guess I got two things. First, let's hatch out the fair week. What do we want to do for the fair week? I think you're right. Like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That sounds pretty good. Or what? What were you initially thinking?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how well received it'll be. I think, Wednesday's usually not, there's not a ton of kids on Wednesday. It depends on what the fair's doing.
Right.
But, I think if we're already going to be staffing, it makes sense to try and get as many people into the pool as we can, even if it's just for an hour, and the goal is to get those people in here so they say, hey, you've got a great pool. Next year, I want to get a pass,
So do we want to try maybe like a Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
I think we should maybe utilize Friday since that'll probably be one of
Busier
the
days of
more
the fair,
busier
sure.
days.
That's fair.
Wednesday's kind of hit and miss.
Right. And like you said, it's always weather dependent too.
I think we just limit it to 2 days.
And so you're talking about a free entrance to the pool?
Yeah.
Logistically, is like a $1 day, is that feasible?
And that could be
Why
something
don't
they
we do
consider
that?
too, maybe a reduced fee, yeah, $1 day or something like that.
Because then
$1 day.
it's a little
Yeah.
something, and then then you have fewer people that it's like, oh,
There you go. You can do that.
No, that's a good thought. That's why I appreciate bringing it to you guys, because, that would probably be something too. And if people want to do it, they're going to pay, and if they don't, then they don't, and that's fine
Why
too.
don't we just do $1 day Thursday, Friday?
The idea is to capture people who are coming to the fair and
Right.
get them to go to the pool. I don't know how we would advertise that we're doing this free day, but it seems to me that you could do both advertising and this by handing out free pool passes valid for the fair week at the fair to anybody's there. Here, have a pass, and it's valid for the fair week.
Which is that I'm fine with that, but that turns into cost making.
It's probably too late for us to have a booth, I would guess, already staffed up. But that's a good thought. I like that idea in the future.
Why
I
don't
think
we
that
just
would be
do
good.
Dollar Day? Let's promote it as Dollar Day through Facebook, through the city website,
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday.
I mean, we can even advertise, we could advertise pretty cheaply in that Messenger. I know there's the Dodge County Independent, but I know that the Messenger's out of Dodge Center, and so they kind of get more of the country, and they do that country newspaper too, so that might be something we could certainly get a small ad put together. I don't want to spend a lot of money on it, but the goal is to try and bring people in, and I mean, I think in the future that'd be really good though, is to have a booth where you just say, yeah, here's your pass. I just think it's probably too late for
Okay.
that.
So say, 'cause if,
But it's only been a month out now, so.
'cause if it's card, then it's gonna be more than $1.
No,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
We still do cash. We changed back to that. I think we do Thursday, Friday, Dollar Day during the fair.
Another idea we could do, with the fair, there's games and stuff. People could win passes too.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, now that I'm
I think
thinking
that would
about it,
have to be-
I think next year, maybe that'd be a goal to have a booth,
More.
where we have a booth and we just have, we have somebody out there and, especially, we got lifeguards that we're paying already, that, shoot, I can have them go staff a booth over at the fair for a couple hours.
If they buy a pass for $1, then they get, put a name in next year to draw for a free.
Well, that too. I mean,
For the
I
next
just want
season.
us to get, we want to utilize it, because, I mean, right now, we're not at capacity. We want to be using it.
Okay, so focusing on this year, let's do Dollar Day, Thursday, Friday for the fair. Is everyone on board for that?
Does the fair start Wednesday afternoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, why not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Want to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
It gives you just another half a day, or, 2 days or 3 days, that's it. If you're gonna do it, open it up a little wider, not,
That's fine. We can
Less.
do Wednesday,
So I
Thursday,
prefer-
Friday.
I prefer Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and
I move we do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday dollar days.
Yeah.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion?
Just gotta get it out there on,
I will talk
social
with
media,
David, the pool manager, just kind of let him know.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye?
right?
Those opposed? Okay.
Oh, I
we got it.
appreciate that. I mean, we'll give it a try, because if it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
go well, then we won't do it again.
The Dollar Day thing.
We'll know pretty quick if
We
it.
talk about it, so why don't we actually do
Sure,
something?
sure.
The other thing, what was the other thing you were talking about?
Oh,
With Byron.
free swim,
Oh,
Byron.
Okay, so what do you want me to do with the emails that are coming in?
Forward to us.
For Manorville residents, I'm
Yes.
assuming? I thought about that.
Not,
Manorville doesn't currently have a pool.
nope.
If their city of Manorville would like to do the same thing as Byron, they should reach out to their council, have their council contact us. They don't have.
Well,
a
I mean,
city-
I made the offer to the city of Manorville.
Yeah.
So Gretchen Lorbach is their clerk, and she said she would put on the agenda for their meeting in July.
They reached out to us.
I mean, the catalyst is the fact that Byron's pools failed.
Right.
Otherwise, it probably wouldn't have done it. But, I mean, after Mel said, hey, why don't we,
I just
I don't have a
think-
problem with that. I don't have a problem with the township if they want to chip in.
I think I mean, obviously Byron's gonna pay the difference, right? I mean,
Right.
depending on however many memberships they
That's right.
purchase.
They're also doing a shuttle.
I think
Right.
there potentially would have been a better way to do this without, because Byron posted this on their Facebook, right? Obviously, people from Manorville, I got some emails through that. I don't know if it would have been better on us to publicize this and let Manorville know, hey, we've already put that out there to your council, the same offer which stands with Byron, to maybe limit some of these emails that I've got.
I think if you have an email coming, you'd let them know the city of Byron is compensating us as a capital contribution, and the same offer's been made to the city council for the city of Manorville.
And that's
I mean, if
fine.
they have another question about it, then I don't, that's
Then they
fine.
get the.
I mean, it's a very much generic, two-sentence email response that you can send to everybody who sends that.
But it could all have been avoided had we publicized it to everyone prior to doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have told them that we're looking into Byron.
What we
reached
would
out
have
to us.
told them is that we have offered Byron resident rate, but the city is covering the rest of it. We have offered that to Manorville, and it's up to their council to decide if they want to proceed with that.
I think the folks in Manorville, if they have a question, they should call City Hall, and I'll talk to them.
That's fine.
I appreciate your comments, but some of these things don't necessarily happen way out in front. I got an email on Thursday afternoon, hey, it's already the 17th of June, I don't have a pool that's running, I need help. If the folks in Manorville have that many concerns, they could talk to their city council. So I think you can always relay that back to the
That's fine.
council.
Because they,
It just might have limited
yeah, because if they're,
emails.
There's no perfect way to please everyone.
because
No, I agree.
Especially, I've had enough of those complaints from the folks in Manorville over the years that I understand they can be a rusty broop there up there sometimes.
you don't work for the city of Manorville, Ben, so you don't have to respond to them, because you don't work for them, you work for the city of Casson. So I get their concern, but they also don't really have a say in how we run our pool.
No, and I agree. I agree
Yeah.
with that. And there's a lot of folks that don't understand that the city of Casson gets the resident rate because they're the
They're
ones that
paying
are paying
taxes.
for
Yeah.
the taxes for it.
Yeah, we've tried to
and-
explain that to people in Manorville, and there are some that really understand it well, and there are some that ignore that.
And there always will be. But like I said, I just want to minimize the amount of stuff that's coming into the aquatic center or to me, and then
I would
I have an obligation to respond.
I would say I would respond with maybe letting them have the contact to City Hall or their council members, because like we made a choice as a council for the city that reached out to us. Manorville City hasn't reached out to us. Their pool hasn't malfunctioned the last I've checked. They don't have a pool. I get their concern, but there's so many times where we try to team up with local cities and they shut us down right away. County, city, and people don't see the behind the scenes things that so many of our staff do, and they're so quick to complain, but they don't know all that went into it.
I'm well aware of all
Yeah,
that.
and it's frustrating on, I think, people's end on the back end because they did all the front loading for it. But if a citizen from a different town has a concern, I would suggest a blanket email saying, reach out to City Hall or reach out to your council. We're more than willing to work with those cities. If Dodge Center's pool's closed right now because their heater's out too, if the Dodge Center City Council reached out to us, we'd probably extend the same offer that Byron did if they knew their pool's gonna be down for a long time. Because
Tim.
what we know is it gives opportunities for families to still go to a pool at a fair rate, and it helps get people into our pool. So I don't think we would say no.
So Tim, can you get just with Ben and draw up something so he can easily respond if he needed to?
Sure, that's no
So that
problem.
way he doesn't
Yeah,
have to try
a
to
blanket
back.
email, that's no problem. I mean, like I said, it's going to be pretty simple, but yeah, no, it's no worries,
But,
and I'll email it to you.
Right. and,
Absolutely.
You know, to try.
I don't want to put
word
more
it-
on your plate, Ben, and I apologize if this came up so quickly that you didn't have a chance to respond, over the weekend, and, it is what it is. We do the best we can with things.
I mean, ultimately, yes, it did come up quickly, and I understand the situation you were in. I just think we possibly could have gone about this, and obviously the pool staff, when I talked with you, I wasn't 100% sure this was all moving forward. There was no full agreement.
Sure.
So then I'm at swim lessons last night, and I'm getting bombarded by assistant managers and the managers saying, is this a real deal? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I have to say, well, I guess it is. I mean, it was talked about, but I had no,
Sure.
I didn't get a for sure, yes, this is moving forward.
Well, to be honest with you, we didn't really know for sure until Monday afternoon,
Right.
right
So,
before they put their post out.
I'm just
So-
saying, I don't appreciate being bombarded when I'm at swim lessons by 4 assistant managers and a manager not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is, I think the manager needs to be corresponding more. I haven't been entirely satisfied with his performance thus far this year. I haven't seen him a whole lot at the pool, to be honest with you.
Right.
And that's
Have you
another.
emailed them or reached out?
I don't have his email. I don't have a phone number for him. And I asked for that today. Ashley said she would get me his
Yeah,
his
his
phone
phone
number.
number's on the employee list.
Okay.
So-
I don't have the employee list.
We'll get you one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Got it, yeah.
Actually,
I mean,
yeah. Okay. All right. We got you, Tim. Free swim done, Dollar Day done.
Awesome.
Byron done.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And if anybody from Manorville calls up, you're going to get it.
Sounds good to me.
We'll keep it that way.
Just real quick on that issue, because I'm going to be at the Manorville City Council meeting where they will discuss this, is this something that the park board is interested in advocating for, that Manorville join this program, or we just don't care? Because if you want that, I can advocate for it. If the park board's like, they do, they don't, well, then I won't say anything at all.
I don't want to speak for how Manorville, the town of Manorville uses their tax dollars. If they want
Realistically,
to,
it's up to them.
yeah, if they want to join, we're more than welcome to allow them, just like we did Byron. But I don't want to speak for how they should spend their.
Well,
their
they'll
revenue.
make the decision. I'm just wondering what's the consensus? Do we want them to have this privilege?
I mean, I think so, but I'm not going to sit here and say, let's push for it, but it's an option out there. we have to offer that same option that we're offering
Byron.
to Byron. It's up to the Manorville's council to make that decision if they want to pay the difference on those memberships.
And they're gonna make the decision.
Yep.
It's just whether or not, if we're interested in it.
My
there's ways
opinion
to
is,
speak in
my
favor
opinion
of
is
something,
sure, if
move
this,
it in a direction.
I think half of it is, they think it's a Castle Manorville School District, so it's a Castle Manorville pool. It's that Castle Manorville thing that's kind of, some people tie together, in this case, unties, but my opinion is like, sure, but the thing is, how do we now implement that in the middle of the year for Manorville? That's probably going to take a week or two for them to decide to finally get it out to their people saying, and then we got to change our rules.
Well, essentially, Manorville would have to go back and reimburse all the folks that have already bought memberships.
So this
Make
might
it
be,
right.
so it might be something for next year, Manorville, if they want in to help offset that. This year's kind of set, this was the emergency thing for Byron, so we're just open arms, welcome in, different situation, so, my opinion is like, our rules are set for this year with the,
That's Manorville's decision to make it.
so, but,
The offer's out there. If they want to go forward with it, that's up to them how they want to divvy it out or do
but
it.
do we want to accept that, a month into the swim?
Well, that's up to them, again, because if they want to do it, then they'll find a way.
They'll have to find a way to
Byron was
reimburse.
proactive and reached out to us.
Yep.
It sounds like some people are being reactive based on what they've heard happening around them. They were proactive. They reached out to us when they wanted to solve a problem and had a plan to solve it. If you saw their post, it was well posted. They've contacted Rolling Hills. They've got busings planned for specific times. They've got it all planned out. Their city's bigger than Manorville. They don't have the same staffing, but I think we just let Manorville figure that out and they can contact us.
Be indifferent, and if Manorville wants to reach out, then maybe.
Let them reach out.
Because they have not done so prior.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. All right, sir. See you
Thanks
later.
very much.
Yep.
Appreciate
Can't
it.
really give you a good answer. Sorry, you want.
Well,
No, it gave me what I was looking for. I just, it's something.
I'm just kind of saying, maybe if you go to the meeting, it says,
I go to every one of the
I probably wouldn't bring it up.
It's on their agenda, at least
Oh,
that's
is
what
it?
Tim said.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll be discussing it, so.
If it's a discussion, basically, that's how it's laid out. Ultimately, it's going to be up to their council, how they want to deal with it or how they want to approach it. I think we'd be willing to discuss it for next season.
I don't think there's a strong need to promote or.
I don't think so. Either.
That's what I gathered from the discussion too.
Yep.
Their citizens should promote it if that's what they want.
Yeah.
Right.
I lived in Manorville when we had the aquatic center. It was never brought up then, too.
All right. We're done with public discussions. We're done with that. New manager first week.
So I'll kind of get the next two involved in this one.
Okay.
So against Tim's opinion, our new manager actually has been doing very well. He's implemented a few changes as far as staffing and their braking, how they're sitting out on the deck, where the lifeguard towers are posted. He has a lot of experience in pools and lifeguarding at pools, so he kind of understands. He understands way more than what I would understand, where if I see a lifeguard out there, it is what it is, right? I don't really look at it as there's a reason why that lifeguard's posted at this corner or whatever. So the first day that I saw him up there, there was a lot of discussion between me and him on why so-and-so's here or there. And I said, this is your baby. I don't know half of what you know about this stuff. So if you feel a need to move folks around as far as where they're posted up for lifeguarding, have at it. If you see better things or better ways that we can have a well-oiled machine, that's your choice. The only thing I asked of him is just inform me of what we're doing so that I'm aware of these changes and things like that. So I was pretty impressed that first day that he was up there. I think the staff respects him quite a bit. Obviously, some of them have actually been his students in school, so Obviously, there's kind of that teacher-student rapport, and some of the students, or kids up there, students, weren't real sure how to approach him. Mr. Voller, he was more than happy to say, hey, this is, not as formal of a place. You can call me David or Mr. Voller, however you
good.
want to approach it. So I think he has the presence that I'm looking for. I think that it's going to take him the first year to kind of really dive into and figure out what's what. He's never been at that pool before. So this is new for him. One thing we have struggled with in the past was scheduling. It was a whole nightmare. It's multiple Excel spreadsheets to try to get 60 staff members, recording all their days that they're requesting off. And everyone knows here that, high schoolers got summer sports, they got vacations. Let's be honest, not everyone's very good at communicating times that they need off. So he said that first week he spent quite a few hours with sheets spread out trying to get a good schedule devised. He approached me about a new app, or an app that they've used at other facilities that he's worked at. Ashley, what was it called?
Oh my
My
God.
Schedule?
How I work, how we work.
When
I'll
I
take a
work?
look.
When I work.
When I work, yes.
It's an app. So Ashley, bless her heart, looked into it. She sat in on a Zoom meeting, got all the information. I think David sat with you.
Yep.
It seemed very good. We would pay for the 3-4 months that we're on and not pay for the months off. So it's a year subscription.
What is the cost?
It was was it $900 for the?
I think it worked out to be $700.
$700, sorry.
Just for the
That'd be
months that
for
were
the summer?
active.
Yes.
Yeah.
So about $240 a month.
Yep. So Tim gave the okay to go ahead with it, so we got signed up. I don't know if he's implemented it yet.
Yes, he's still using the free trial version of
Okay.
it. But
So
he's
he
using
was
it.
very confident in it. Every staff member gets the app on their phone, and they can put in these days that they need off, days that they want to work. He can generate a schedule very easily.
Sounds like a good thing to try this year and see how it
yes.
goes for next year.
I was more than happy to back him on that, especially since he's had experience with this app. But like I told him, I said, the less I can have you worry about the schedule, the more I can have you out there with the staff or watching the staff and seeing things that you want to change.
Okay,
So basically, I just want to give you an update on how David's doing.
good. All right, maintenance updates.
So, we're all over the board here. Obviously, the pool's up in operation. Okay. We did have Newman Pools come down and do a full-on inspection on the aquatic center, the maintenance. Everything was up to their standards, which was a positive feeling, I guess. There's some heaving in the pool, which what they basically said is to be expected with a pool of that, over 10 years old. It's very minimal, because there were some things that when the health inspector came, she had concerns about water not going over this corner. Well, those are things that we can't change. We've tried changing the levels of things, and you can only change so much where it's just not feasible to address. So basically, that's kind of what they gave me a go-ahead on. The heaters, he basically wanted us to call him for next year right when we open so they can actually see the heaters work. Because, of course, the day they came, it was like 90 degrees, so the heaters were already at 10. And unfortunately, we have a heater down right now. Originally, we had it working through the weekend, and then Friday it went out on us again. So Superior's been there today. He ordered some more parts for it. It sounded like he's going to try 2 parts. It's going to be a wire harness, which is fairly cheap, and then a control panel, which is not very cheap. We pretty much had everything replaced in the heaters, both heaters, except for the electronics parts of it. We had, you know, all the burners have been replaced. Pretty much all the guts except for the electronics, because we haven't had any issues with those. So, and now we are. So, hopefully, I'm hoping for some warmer days, and I'm hoping Superior can get those parts quickly, and we can go back up and running.
But you're not going to close it down because the heater ain't working, are you?
No.
I don't think so. Nope. All right. Summer projects, Veterans Memorial.
So I got my three projects listed there, probably in order of what I would like them to be done. I think our next project, now that things are kind of slowing down for my staff, I would like to start the Veterans Memorial Project. So step 1 is I have to get in contact with the Legion so we can have a
Ceremony.
decommission of the existing memorial. And I don't know how they want to do it or how they want to go about it. I know that they would just like to have a ceremony for that. And then the next project, or next part of that would be removing the sand volleyball court and getting the footings or foundations in place for the memorial. And then after that, we would like to obviously move the sand volleyball court into that open lot to the east. Still got to work with the electric guys for that project. There's some underground stuff that needs to be moved or adjusted. Where we can get with that, I'm not sure as far as this year, but I think seeing some construction on that project would be beneficial to the committee and the city as far as trying to get that ball rolling for the Veterans Memorial Project. Anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Yeah. Oh, all right, good. Yep, start.
And
I mean,
and if
everybody,
any- I
we
will-
kind of went around and told everybody we were going to start this spring. So
Yep.
it's like,
So now that we kind of got everything
A few
started,
days still.
yeah.
and there's still a few days left.
The next project is going to be the parking lot out at Northwest Park. That's going to kind of be dependent on when soccer's over or where our lull is between soccer and football, because they utilize that park, and I don't want that under construction when they're trying to utilize the park. So that potentially might not, the parking lot might not take place till the fall. I'm just trying to figure out the schedules of youth soccer and the youth football. But Tim and I had spoke, pending on where we're at budgetary wise, come towards the end of the season, you know, there might be a potential for a modular for Northwest Park. It might not be as extravagant as what is in Northeast, but I will try to find something comparable, I guess, in size. But I'm going to try to kind of do some research as far as, you know, the one in Northeast Park, we got on a fall special. So I'm going to talk with my playground provider, some of the other ones, and just kind of see what options are out there.
Could I suggest maybe more of an obstacle course based design that's not so hot, like you're not climbing up, but there's smaller things that they can do. Yeah.
And I will
Something different than what we have in other
parks. If there's some sort of you know, like fall deal or something, I will get those options and I will have you guys look at them and we can make a decision together.
Okay.
The only thing I want to avoid is what we had done at Meadowland Park, where that's kind of like, it's kind of an obstacle
very
course, but it's strictly upper body, so it's nothing but monkey bars.
Yep.
So I don't want to do that because I want to make it fun for any kid. I don't want it to be kids who can do monkey bars.
Yeah, I think the elementary playground has some stuff there too to look at that might be something.
So I will, once I kind of see what options we have out there, I will get them gathered, and I want everyone to look at them and have, your opinion on them. I don't want to be the one making that decision, but at the same time, I love putting my kid hat on and thinking about what I would like to do as a kid, So hopefully that's still, I'm trying to be very optimistic. I'm hoping that that's going to be an option as far as when our budget kind of gets towards the end of the year. Last on that is,
Overall update on parks for.
well, I haven't done
beginning of the year.
Northeast Diamond yet.
Oh, sorry.
Quit jumping the gun.
Thought you mentioned it.
I mentioned the playground.
Okay.
So originally I wanted to get a park shelter there this year. If I can get a modular over at Northwest, I would much rather do that versus the shelter. Obviously the shelter is going to be down the road potentially next year. I think that would kind of really just finalize that park area. One thing that will be happening this year is benches and trash cans around the playground area. I do have the last of what the Lions can provide for free benches. So kind of excited that we at least got the last opportunity at the benches for that. So that's about that.
All right. Overall update on the parks, beginning of the year.
So we've kind of tailored away from spraying everything. Some chemicals are more expensive than others. Some of our devotion is going to be more towards the athletic fields. I put some more devotion towards Northeast Diamond, which costs a little bit more money with some of the fertilizers and the herbicides. So we've kind of let go on some of those other park areas just to try to make sure our athletic facilities or areas are acceptable for what people are expecting. I meet with Sam, who is in charge of the Youth Soccer Association, tomorrow morning out at Lions to discuss layouts for youth soccer fields. We're going to kind of try to map out what we can fit out there, what's realistic, what they're expecting. He had mentioned that their youth soccer organization would be willing to donate some money to the city as far as maybe for chemicals to spray or to to make the fields in acceptable shape for the kids.
Are you talking like Lions Park?
Yep.
How did that roll? Did you use the roller out
We
there?
haven't got out there yet. So
Oh.
we use the roller on all of our current athletic fields. Once I meet with Sam so we can actually map out where fields would go and kind of where they'd get placed. Obviously, it's not really worth rolling the ground now when it's rock hard. So hopefully we get some water, which tomorrow looks pretty good. But so I'm excited to maybe have a new home for some of the youth soccer program. Other than that, that's kind of, I guess that's where we're at with the beginning of the year for the parks.
Okay. Any questions from anybody? All right, old business. Johan.
I'll try to be brief since we're running a little long tonight. Thank you for everyone who responded to the email I sent out just before I went on vacation. I did want to at least get the idea in front of the council's mind that I might be coming after that $10,000 that was unallocated because of the joint ventures not being paid this year. I thought that presentation went pretty well. I plan, or it is on the agenda to present that as an action item tomorrow night at the city council, that they would dedicate that $10,000 as a matching fund for us to raise money for the disc golf course. So that's on the agenda for tomorrow night. I have made a couple of minor changes to the proposal. Probably the biggest one is after Ben and I went and walked the whole course, I realized that we could easily, with very little effort and very little investment, create a nice little walking path. So the disc golf course is going to create a path for itself. That's on the first map, and the walking path is on the second map you'll see there. Disc golf course creates a walking path along Maston Creek to get to the hole number 3 and number 4. But we could easily extend that walking path going down the woods that kind of follow Maston Creek there and create a nice wooded path for people to follow. In addition to that, you'll see I've circled a scenic area there at the very bottom of the walking path map. There is a massive cottonwood tree at the back side of that scenic area. We're planning on putting a basket in there towards the back, but it's going to open up this beautiful grotto with the creek on the one side, and then this tree must be what, 10 foot in diameter?
All of, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's going to be beautiful. So, you know, it could become a feature where people go for a walk, they'll take a little pause, sit on a bench. By including a walking trail in the proposal, I think it will help to raise funds from the community by broadening the appeal of the disc golf course to not just those who might play the sport, but also those who would benefit from a wooded walking path right in the heart of town. You know, something we don't have a lot of. So you'll see that as the bottom line on the proposal. Really all we're looking at is putting in about 3 benches along the way, a little bit of signage, and a little bit of extra development. My hope is this summer is to develop some of these scenic areas, take and clear out all the brush so that people can see where that massive tree is, see how beautiful it's going to be. We probably won't get it to finished development, but you know, we'll just go in there, do some mowing, do some brush removal, do some wood chipping, throw it down on the paths. The walking path may appear this year, though it certainly wouldn't be in its final form. That'll help raise awareness of the project, hopefully inspiring some folks to commit to its completion. So that's where we're at with the project.
So my question is, and this is for you guys, the tree line, do we own this property?
Yes. Yep. So
I
if you-
thought at
if-
one time somebody else owned that because we couldn't
So
touch
if you look on your guys' map with the disc park stuff
Yeah.
on it, so holes 13 and 14, you see that brown area?
yeah.
That is not our property.
Oh, so we
That is the only chunk that really is not our property as far as what is on our map
all right.
that Johan has. After taking that walk, no one has any clue at what kind of sweet, unique little forest that we have within our town. The tree, I mean, the tree alone is something that you would have to go out and see yourself
I'm
to
gonna have
believe.
to. Yeah.
I would suggest waiting till we clear the brush because it was hard to get back to.
So hike.
Okay.
But I don't think, I love Johan's proposal because it's utilizing all this area that is gone to waste.
Is there an option if whoever owns this property comes in and wants to develop it to move holes 13 and 14?
So.
It's a good question. And we've considered this very thing because not only is this property owned by somebody besides the city, but somebody besides the city has had history with the city that's not particularly good.
That's why I
So everything that we would put in would be put in on city property or the right-of-way. The throwing might be across that area, but if that is problematic, and I have all intentions to actually contact this person over the next 3-4 months and talk to them and say, look, we're thinking about putting disc golf in here, would you mind? If the city were to mow that for you so that you don't have to mow it anymore, you don't have to take care of it, would you allow us just to throw over the property?
We're not going to have anything on your property.
We're not putting anything on your property, but we're just going to have people walk across it. Already people walk across it. The
Oh, yeah.
people at the park already play there. So I'm going to try to make nice. If in my efforts to make nice, we find out, oh, wow, there's really some bad blood here and he just doesn't want to make nice. The plan, already in the works for that would be to take where hole 10 is and we'll put hole 11 down into this undeveloped area on the south end. Hole 12 will come back up towards where the actual number 10 is, and then hole 13 would bring us back out to across the bridge. It does cut out this really beautiful little section that you kind of cross over a piece of Maston Creek, and there's a little grotto. So where 11 and 12 are is a really neat section of the creek, but if we have to cut it out, we can. So this is certainly not getting its final form. When we go to actually build, things are going to change. They always do. But we do have a plan to address the property issue should it arise. I'm hoping it doesn't.
Yeah, there's been issues in the past.
Yeah, I think if anyone's got a remotely chance, is Johan.
Yeah.
I think it's fair, and I don't know this individual. I've never had, and obviously, there's turnover, whether it's through council or however long this happened to go. I wasn't here, wasn't part of it, whatever. I would like to think they could let something like that go, especially if we're not using their property other than to go over their property.
Yeah.
Johan is a fantastic public speaker, so
Yes.
I think if anyone's got a chance, it's you. With that being said, if and when we get this walking trail done, every one of you should get out there and see
Well, I'm gonna go check
what
it
that
out.
park's like. Because I was kind of in awe with trudging through the woods
Well,
like we did, and it was really fun and neat, so.
They got that walking trail out there on just west of Quick Trip on the north side there. I don't know if anybody's been there to see it, but they got a place to park
Yep,
cars and you got,
the restoration part,
yeah.
yep.
that is cool. So if you're gonna get something like this around our area,
I'll tell you what, this
That would be
this
really
walking
neat.
trail will put Restoration Park to shame.
okay.
It may not be
Okay.
as big, but
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Hon.
Festival in the Park staffing.
so I don't know if everyone's informed. The city upped their donation to Festival in the Park to essentially have them cover the staffing. So we are no longer in charge of the staffing for the garbage
Good.
and trash taking out during the festival.
Good.
So that's kind of a little weight off our shoulders for that weekend.
Good.
I still have no problem letting them use, our gator or whatever to take the trash out, so, but we don't have to worry about trying to keep their hours or anything like that, so.
All right, great. Correspondence. I saw in the minutes, you mentioned something about the ball field lighting parts from the school.
Yep.
Did you get that?
Yep.
Is it- they gonna
So
let you do
we
it?
recovered as much as we could possibly recover,
Okay.
that had not already fallen. So when time permits, we're gonna try to get up there and utilize some of those parts that we were able to cannibalize from the school. Free parts.
Great.
Couldn't be happier to get that.
Well, they're expensive. I'm
It just-
sure some of them
It'll
are.
help us get by a few more years without having to worry about replacing our lighting. And that's kind of a hard subject because it's not like it's used all the time, but it's something that eventually will have to get updated. It's just, that's kind of one of those hard pills to swallow because it's a lot of money for not a lot of reward.
Okay, and I have just one more thing here, and when I forget what her name was, she started,
Emma.
she said, well, how much time do I have? And I said, and we all kind of just, well, whatever. Would anybody be in disagreement if we just kind of like put a 10-minute limit on, 10 or 15-minute limit? Because I just bring that up
Council's
because,
4.
4,
I believe council's 4.
yeah,
and that's fair.
But we don't talk back, like,
Oh,
at council, if you address the council during a session or the council's not supposed to talk back.
okay, so what's your opinion? Do we respond?
I think we have in the past when like youth baseball comes,
Right.
soccer, like that open line of communication. I think if this,
I just don't want to do anything
This committee is
wrong,
important.
but I figured it was kind of an
There's
open
really-
discussion.
Well, I think we need more discussion on our side to make recommendations.
Right.
Right.
You know, and we probably have a little more outside insight. You know, like in this case, like I said, I'm not a good swimmer. You know, if I was 8 years old and I still can't get out of the 3 foot, I want a life jacket type thing. So I understand, you know, where they're coming from, but
I'm just bringing this up because legally there is no, when I was on council, we had some issues with this. And we actually had a set of time zone. I think that's when the 4-minute thing came in. And it was like, okay, because Tim came in and said he had to be out here at 6:30, and it's like, okay, let's
Yeah, we were
keep it
kinda
rolling
pushing
on. We were kind of pushing on, and I didn't want to. So maybe if we just keep our questioning and everything limited to let them get done speaking, and then ask the questions afterwards or whatever. I'm open for any.
What I've seen done that works quite effectively is you set that limit for 5 minutes, and then you have a policy where anyone on the board can move to extend. Or move to a discussion time. You can say, oh, well, I move that we have a 4-minute discussion time on this. So then you have the initial limit, you have to say what you're going to say in 4 minutes, and then if we need the interaction, we just understand that that's our policy. Somebody has to move it, somebody seconds it, and we vote. And then they can have as much time as they need, or we feel is necessary or appropriate.
It's easy to shut down if we need to, just by not extending it.
Yeah. I think
All right,
everyone's
well,
got the ability to ramble and.
Well, I know we
I'm not saying she rambled or anything, but.
I think somebody else rambled.
What are you talking about?
yeah, I second that. I'm not there now.
It wasn't Greg
I gotta
this
stop
time.
coming to these meetings.
Anyways, okay. If
Well,
there's-
you know, we didn't, you know, as she was going, well, here's what the Red Cross, she says, you know, that's some of the stuff that she would, then knowing if she had a time frame, you know, you don't need to read me the book of the Red Cross, tell me what your issues are addressing, and then we'll address it back, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, you know,
Fair.
it's something we can, I don't think we have to decide on something now, but something to think on.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, bring it up
I
at next
think if
meeting.
someone were to ask, we say.
I just think by either we decide something now so that if she does come back for the next meeting, we have something in place, or would you guys like to try to decide?
I think we should wait.
I think I
because
could just
I think it would look
ask
bad
her.
deciding after she left. to
That's
me.
fair.
Like
Okay,
that.
okay.
If
Yeah,
I was
I
a citizen coming in to
understand.
talk, and you're like, "Well, we're gonna wait till the next meeting," I leave, and then you make the decision. That would look really bad.
That's fair. I understand that.
Maybe put it on the agenda for
Yeah.
next time.
I know
if
it
you want.
doesn't help her in terms of wanting to
Yeah,
get
well, yeah.
life jackets
Write it up
on
and put it
kids
on.
now, but I think we are offering times where they can wear life jackets. There's the tot time. I know she said her 5-year-old can't. What is the age? Is it 4 or 5?
For what?
Tot time.
I
I thought it was
I
5.
think it's 5.
So if a 5-year-old can be
Might
there,
be.
maybe we should. Okay. Because my only concern is the kids that are dropped off by themselves, or the kids that are coming with Project Kids. I like the idea of, well, if your parent's here, then you can have one as long as it's Red Cross approved, and that
And-
means we
and-
have to check it.
So our stipulations currently are evening swims, Sunday night,
Yeah.
family time. Every swim jacket has to be Coast Guard approved.
Yep.
We do allow, kids with health conditions or disabilities to have not Coast Guard approved life jackets because in some situations, some of those kids cannot sit upright.
Yep.
And there's no chance that an adult or an individual is not going to be taking care of that child.
Yeah.
And that was discussed between me, the manager, and the assistant managers. I'm like I said, and I told her, I said, I'm not the one up there every day watching what goes on. I'm taking, some of these kids are college kids, some of these kids are 15. Don't get me wrong. I'm taking advice from all of them and seeing what they see. I don't get to see everything they see every day.
We have had 15 and 16-year-olds save a life, so and I was trying to get to that point with my question was, I do feel like our lifeguards do a really good job
Yep.
monitoring the pool.
I just think you can't, it's hard to take one parent's suggestion or their criticism because it's not the same for everyone else. She may be always intent and always involved with their kids, but that doesn't speak for everyone. And that's unfortunate, but it's just, we gotta cover everything.
Can you come back with what % time of the pool when it's open does allow it and doesn't? Like when you have the open swim versus evening swims, like what % of the time the pool's open are kids are actually allowed to wear a life jacket?
Sure.
And then I couldn't find it on Rochester's website, but do they allow it anytime the pool's open, or is it just certain times? Like, I can't find it on there because their website doesn't say it.
See, I didn't really reach out to those. I reached out to Stewartville and Dodge Center since they're kind of the similar and they're closest. And Stewartville is the exact same policy as us.
Yeah.
The only thing that we had advertised this year that we have not in the past is kids with disabilities or, health concerns that they need a life jacket. Dodge Center, like I said, they went to life jackets all the time, but they are strongly, trying to push for your parent. The adult has to be within arm reach. Now that turns into your lifeguards having to watch the adult, making sure the adult's in arm reach of a kid in a life jacket.
So then you're not watching the kids, you're not watching the swimmers that need you.
It's just there's so many different avenues, and just like Johan said, life jackets. Some people put their kids in life jackets that aren't fitted correctly, or they're not wearing them properly. It's not the job of our lifeguards to make sure that every kid that walks in is wearing their life jacket properly or it's fitted properly. It's no different than, we had a gal reach out and she asked for a discount for kids that might have autism or some. It's not our lifeguards or our admissions window job to diagnose what a child has or does not have, or to say, no, your child's fine. That's not our job. Our job is to watch the kids and make sure everyone's being safe.
When we do allow, the times that we do allow life jackets, do we have a policy about parents or guardians?
Yes, so our policy still stands as an adult has to be within arm's reach of a child in a life jacket.
It seems like, if that was the policy and a parent is in the pool with their child, I feel like that's going to be good enough to keep this under control. We don't want people bringing their child and sending their child off to the deep end with a life jacket on.
Yep.
But this would, if the rule is already that they have to be within arm reach, they're going to be close to that, and that's probably.
You would hope so.
Could it just be in the same pool as their child?
So
Well, I'm suggesting leave the rule as is.
Yeah.
But there's a leniency factor.
Yep.
that-
the other concern, and I wish I would have brought this up when she was speaking, the difference between night swim and afternoon swim. JLH, all these daycare groups are up at the pool.
Oh, wait, definitely.
Okay, so I've been up there, obviously, working on the pool when JLH is up there. You're talking about, what did they bring up? Probably 100 kids. Well, that might be an exaggeration, but a lot of young little kids. Okay, so now you have those kids in the pool, whether you are allowing lifeguard or life jackets or not. But it's pure chaos. The last thing they need to do is have kids up there in life jackets out in areas that
The
they
deep
might not, they shouldn't be in, the false sense of security, and the lifeguards are looking at the large group of kids over here, not paying attention to the kid in the life jacket over there.
I'd say naturally that's kind of going to happen because there just aren't going to be enough parents
Right.
to even have it be an option to have that many life jackets there during the
Right.
daytime.
So, obviously,
Yeah.
this is a discussion to be had for next meeting.
Yeah,
Um,
and I look at it, do we have enough reason to say, sorry, no life jackets? What's our reasoning, and then what's the reasoning to say, yes, there should be? You gotta, which side, we somehow we gotta find a balance.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, our balance is what it is right now. Evening swims and Sundays.
Okay,
That's a fair balance.
And to have them not doing it on an open swim during the afternoons, you know, it's,
Because in my opinion, it's either going to be all or nothing,
yep.
right? And I think we're in a fair balance of allowing it a good chunk of the time, not all the time. But the only other option is going to be we just allow it all the time.
And that's gonna be her question, and probably my question is like, why not? You know, is it, and it gets back to saying, well, we don't wanna be the babysitter.
Right.
Understandable, but then like, you know, and the liability, and is there liability in the putting all the extra, you know, lifeguards visions on, more watch, and, I mean, I'm on either side of the fence.
That sounds like, this sounds like it's one of those things where, let's
Maybe
give it a try and see what happens.
under 5 would be like a kid under 5 who hasn't taken swimming lessons yet, so a non-swimmer,
Non-swimmer.
under 5.
Or age 10.
That's kind of
no,
where
it's-
we get back to like Johan's point of view is they don't know how to swim. So if they're in a swim jacket that doesn't fit them properly, or it's not worn properly, and they're in a spot where they shouldn't be or wouldn't normally be, they could drown.
Yep.
I'm curious, you know, if they were fully allowed, how many people would actually show up with lifeguards? Would it even be much of a concern?
I mean, that's a fair statement there. I
I mean,
mean,
it might be just 6 kids. So that's why I'm saying, you know, in my sense, it's like, why not, type thing. But now if you all of a sudden have 30 kids in the pool and there's 30 extra kids that have life jackets that didn't before, you know, then it may have to be, so that's where another rule would have to come in. It's like, okay, you know, is this life jacket, do you know how to fit your child with a life jacket or not? You know, you can't be wearing his sister's because he lost his. And, you know, so there's always going to be the, you know, this is why you shouldn't or can't. But we also don't want to not have, because I think when Ronnie was on the park board and, you know, in charge, and it goes back, and I could even go back to Liza Larson and, you know, when the first pool started up, it's like, why are we not allowing it? I don't remember.
If
On a side note,
decided to allow it and it exposed some issue, we could discontinue it again. I mean, if we tried and then there were these concerns and we needed to discontinue it.
Talk to Dave. You know, get Dave's input on.
No, I
he's been on
have.
pools.
all the input that I've gotten has been through the staff, Mr. Voller. It's been through Dodge Center. Dodge Center, the gal that is kind of running Dodge Center, she actually does our lifeguard certification. She says if they could go back, she would. If she had the power to say no life jackets, she would.
And then have her follow up like, why?
Because of the fact that parents are not as active with their children as they used to be because of cell phones, social media.
And that makes sense, you know.
I feel like we need to kind of draw this to a close, because having brought issues to the council before, it's very frustrating to bring an issue to a council, think that they're done talking about it, and then come back later and found out, oh, they talked about it when they said they weren't going to.
Right.
We told her we're going to talk about it next time,
Yep.
and she said, oh, well, I'd kind of like to be here. I think we really should have the discussion when the person who brought it is here to
Oh, yeah, we can
at
keep it
least
going.
hear what is
Well,
being
yeah,
said.
these are just all things I want to keep in our mind to say, okay, when
I
next week
agree.
comes. the
I'm not
next
saying
month
there's any
comes.
harm. I don't think we should continue this very far. It could look bad. If you're making
Well,
up
we're
your
not-
mind when
we're
she's
not
not
gonna
here,
make a-
that-
I- no,
I
I'm
don't
not.
like that to happen.
No,
To me.
we're not
with
going to
you.
make,
Yep.
we're not going to make a decision on it or anything else
No,
right now.
no.
But it's just, it's open.
Trying to
I appreciate
It's
her
there.
coming. I think that she emailed us, reached out
Yep.
about a couple weeks ago, and it was nice to see her here because oftentimes people don't show up and talk about what they're concerned about. So I appreciate her coming.
Okay. Yep. All right, well, thank you, everybody. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second.
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody agree?
Yep.
Everybody disagree? Okay.
If you're not going to take their copy home, would you get it back to me? Because I'm
Yes.
going to give them out to council tomorrow night.
I'll just bring it tomorrow then.
There you go.
Well, that's right.
Oh,
Target
here,
tomorrow.
You're welcome to take it home with you if you want. I made
notes
10 of
on
them,
it?
so.
No, I printed, I got some print-offs.
Well, the
here.
guys at Sports Headquarters are excited.
Are they?
Yeah, because that's their number 2 seller is Frisbee golf stuff.
Want to pop the recording?
They were like, oh, that's awesome to hear. I was like, yeah, we're looking at it. Like, this is a good project. So.
Gonna be fun.
I'm looking forward to it, Shane.